Sometimes greed is so consuming it blocks out all human reasoning and logic. How else can anyone explain Adeel Khan's actions? 2 years ago, the 46-year-old deliberately blew up his Sydney convenience store so he could claim $225,000 of insurance. The blast was so destructive, the two-storey building crumbled to the ground and 3 innocent lives, including an 11-month-old baby, were lost. That Adeel Khan thought he could get away with the crime is as outrageous as the act itself. And next week, this evil man will be sentenced for murder, manslaughter and arson. But no amount of prison time will be long enough for the grieving families of those he killed.
A desperate and painstaking rescue operation is underway after a massive explosion in Rozelle.
Blew me straight out of bed onto my feet.
As you're running out, the floor's just falling in behind you, ceiling's coming down.
What happened here in the early hours of the 4th of September 2014 was frightening.
There was just flames. There was shrapnel.
And horrific.
Shattered windows, and you could just hear the building collapsing.
A mother and her baby boy are among those feared trapped in the rubble.
Firefighters did their best, but this blast was so ferocious, nothing could save 27-year-old Chris Noble, 31-year-old Bianca O'Brien, and her beautiful 11-month-old son, Jude. One man, Adeel Khan, was pulled from the rubble, injured but alive. At first, he claimed to be a victim.
Who burnt down the property?
No clue.
But now we know he's a killer.
He planned it, he knew what he was doing.
Khan deliberately blew up his convenience store because he wanted to claim a $225,000 insurance payout.
He knew we were up there. Chris's car was parked out front.
It's just horrific. He's an evil man.
For the people living above Adeel Khan's shop, the evening before the blast was as normal as any other. Sunset beers for flatmates, Todd Fisher, Corey Cameron and Chris Noble. Hello, darling. The sportsman's son of Liz and Ross.
Incredibly tough, physically strong, but had a heart of gold. They're lovely memories to have. Lovely memories.
Next door, Anthony Carroll was eating a quick meal he'd just bought from Adeel Khan's shop.
Bought myself a can of Coke and some chips, as I did most nights.
And it was family time in the neighbouring flat for Bianca and John O'Brien with their baby Jude, a beloved first grandchild for Bianca's dad, Bill.
This is the last time I saw this little boy. We had a little power nap on the sofa. And his father came to pick him up to take him home, and that's the last I saw him.
When you see the layout of the Rozelle building, it's clear how it became such a death trap. At ground level is the convenience store. Directly above it, in a 3-bedroom apartment, lived good mates Corey, Todd and Chris. Their neighbour on this side of the building was Anthony. On the other side lived John and Bianca with their baby son Jude, though on this particular day, John had to leave them to get to work early. It's now 4 o'clock in the morning and, as you'd expect, everyone is sleeping, blissfully unaware that for the past 5 hours, Adeel Khan had been preparing his store for a catastrophic explosion. Wearing a mask against the fumes, he used between 20 and 30 litres of fuel to make petrol bombs, which he placed in all 3 major rooms of his store. He then packed paper and cardboard around them to make them even more flammable. And he created one long, continuous wick with petrol-laden rags tied together. Khan then left the building, making sure to close the door behind him to protect himself before lighting the fuse. The force of the fire is extraordinary, hurling Khan almost 3 metres back into the alley and shaking the very foundations of the building.
The cracking of electricity, there was the crumbling of the building, there was the twisted metals.
Anthony woke confused and disorientated, rushing to put on his prosthetic leg and get out.
The fire brigade turned up, and then there was the police and all the other emergency services.
First, I thought it was a massive gas explosion.
Todd and Corey were also woken by this hellish nightmare.
I was like, I need to get out of here. And then the floor started to sink through like a sinkhole. So I jumped over my bed, and when I went to get to the door, the ceiling fell on top of me. And I was like, oh shit, this is not good. And then I went into him next door, opened the door, got him, he didn't know what was going on.
Ran by Chris's room and he's, Chris, let's go. Come on. He said, I'm coming, I'm coming.
Yeah, we could hear him. I couldn't open the door. I was trying to open the door, and then I let go of the door because I thought maybe he's trying to get out as I'm trying to open it. So I let go, but I wasn't panic or anything from him, was it? It was just like, I'm coming.
It's awful to imagine the terror that was experienced here. Believing Chris was not far behind them, Todd and Corey raced to their only exit, which turned out to be a jammed glass sliding door. Todd smashed his way through it. With no other way out, they then had to jump 1.5 metres onto a neighbouring rooftop to safety.
We got out and then we jumped off over the balcony, down to the road, and we checked each other and we went, shit, Chris is not with us.
This is the moment Corey and Todd realise Chris is lost to them.
Getting in and out the back.
What we don't see is Corey scrambling back onto the balcony of the burning, crumbling building to try to save his mate.
I'm just screaming for him, and you could hear him just, struggling for life. And
As soon as we got out, though, the whole thing was engulfed in flames. It's like literally 5 seconds after we got out. So if we didn't get out that, we would have been dead. There's no way.
just the most hopeless feeling, When you hear him, you can't do anything about it, so.
It was early morning in Chris's hometown of Canowindra in country New South Wales.
I went across the kitchen to put the jug on, and I could see that there was a message on my phone, and had a look, and it said, I love you. And my stomach immediately just lurched. And I thought, no, you're being an over-anxious mother. Don't be like that. So I sent a message back to him, what are you doing awake at this time? Then when I didn't get a reply or anything for him, I thought, so I turned the Today Show on, and they had this fire in Darling Street, and I thought, gee, that looks close to where Chris is. So send him a message, the fire looks really close to you, are you all right?
It was a message Chris would never read. Trapped in his burning bedroom with his door jammed and bars on his window, he had time only to say goodbye. How much does that haunt you, that he was very aware that this was the end for him?
A lot. Because you wonder, how long was he alive after he'd sent the message? And you think, why wasn't he getting out? And felt that it wasn't good enough to get a message like that from somebody at the last bit. But then you remember how much he just loved so many people. He was known for saying, I love you, to his mates, to his friends, to his brother, to his sister, that I can't believe that you can be that strong to actually do that when, there's so much noise and disaster all around you.
Just on the other side of Chris's bedroom, another tragedy was unfolding. His neighbours, Bianca and Jude, mother and child, were also trapped.
Help! Anyone, help! Did she die quickly? Did the fumes get her? Did the smoke get her? Did she burn? It's always there. Did I consider always there? Peck, I hope you really didn't suffer. That's always with me.
But Bill Karamalevsky clings to a more comforting memory that right to the end, Bianca was a loving mother.
They found them in the rubble with Bianca on top of Jude, holding Jude, protecting Jude. There's no words that I can tell you how we felt and how the family felt. There's no words that you can say.
Hang on, there's someone here.
Adeel Khan too could have so easily been killed by the blast. But he, who deserved it least, was protected from the explosion.
Tell me your name. What's your name?
Paramedics found him beneath the rubble. I mean, when you discovered that the man who'd lit this explosion, who made this happen, survived, and your friend didn't, what was that moment like?
I felt sick.
Yeah, he felt sick, but no, I'm glad he survived. Because I want him to live, you know, knowing what he did. You know, I feel like if he died, that would have been the easy way out for him. You know, because they wouldn't have saved him unless we told them that there was more guys over there.
So that's why you feel guilty again, because you've saved his life, but you can't save your best mate's life.
Still to come, the unrepentant killer,
Not all the evidence is destroyed all the time.
whose cowardly lie was his ultimate undoing.
He was that arrogant that he thought ordinary Australian people would actually believe the garbage that he came up with.
That's next on 60 Minutes.